Well, good morning, gang. My name's Ray. I'm with Team S.T.E.A.M. and this morning I'm out in front of Flash Industrial Painting because, well, I got myself another little side project. I had a hood show up this morning. This is off of a Freightliner Cascadia, and it's got some breakage. This whole flange is missing. This has been broken. This has been broken. He's got another grill at his house. I just need to strengthen everything. I think there's some breakage up under here. I really have to have a look. What I need to do really is just get it unstrapped and get it set upright so I can really have a look inside and see exactly what we're dealing with for structural damage on this hood before we can make decisions. Because I can tell you right now, same thing I told the owner, there's no way I'm gonna be able to match this paint. It's not original paint, so you can't just go to Freightliner and find out, you know, after we get the year or whatever, or find the paint code in the truck. And if you can't find the paint code in the truck, if you have the VIN, you'll be able to get the paint. But this isn't original paint. It's been painted by somebody else, and it's metallic blue. The chances are zero that I'm going to be able to match this paint and repaint this hood. You'd have to paint the whole truck. I just don't have any choice. I don't have any paint numbers, and even if I did, somebody else painted it. In other words, when it comes to metallic paint, it's somewhat translucent. So if they primed it in a light gray or a white, which would give them this sort of medium to light hue, or if they primed it in dark, like Ford primes everything in black, you know, I don't know. And if you don't do that right, you're going to be a full shade or two or three off. And once they get it put back on the truck, it's going to look ridiculous. So not to mention, I don't want to mask this vinyl stuff, whatever that vinyl sticker is. I don't want to try and mask it. And if we pull it off there, then we get pull it off the rest of the truck. And when we do that, I promise you, there'll be a spot underneath there where it's much darker. And so this whole shape will still show up in the side of the hood because it'll be darker. Kind of like if you own a car and you've had a bra on the front of that car for years and you pull that bra off for any reason, now you have a two-tone. It'd be the same thing here. So these sorts of things are touchy, and I already told the owner I have no intention of trying to repaint this hood the same color. So the repairs that we'll be doing to this are structural and may end up being minimalistic, but we're pretty far from that hurdle yet, so we'll just see how it goes. Good morning. I do have my work cut out for me. Very odd. I was pretty impressed. I'm gonna do what I always do on these trucks. And that just happens to be my thing, by the way. This paint job's probably 5-6 years old. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. And here he is leaving. It wasn't quite as fun as I was expecting. And that starts right about now. Well, okay, got that all loaded. I honestly didn't even know what I was gonna do until I had it suspended above the ground. And my first thought was I'll just leave it hanging from the boom and then put a 2x6 or something up under the boom, up under the bucket to hold it up in the air. No problem. But I noticed that the hydraulics bleed off awfully fast on this old machine. Not uncommon with old work machines. But I guess I just didn't think about it, because by the time I even thought that I might consider it, I noticed that the boom was already starting to tilt down. The forks were already starting to tilt down. It didn't take long at all. You could almost watch it in real time if it wasn't quite so boring. So that wasn't gonna work. I'd come in here in an hour and this hood would be dumped on the ground. So instead I just went ahead and stacked these 3 ladders. Big sturdy one at the front, these 2 at the back in good flat spots. Both of them are in nice flat locations. Now this is right up where I need to see it. I need to fix this. I need to do something with this. I need to do something with that. I need to do something with that. And then I need to look around underneath and see what we have for structural damage as well while I'm in here. Well, good morning, gang. Just stepped out of my house, headed for the shop. First thing in the morning. Haven't been in here at all yet. So we'll be coming in here together. You know, here's how we left that hood yesterday. And it's in a good position for me to do everything I need to do. It wouldn't be ideal if I had to paint it, but for what I got to do, it's right there where I need it. And it's on some pretty stable ground. I don't know if it looks like it is or not on video, but it's on some pretty stable ground. I could dance around on it if I wanted to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start poking around this with a spotlight on the inside here and start looking for any kind of damage I might need to repair, anything I might need to be including in this repair. I'll go ahead and get this grill off of here and see what we've got going on behind it. He's got a brand new grill he's going to put on it, so I don't need to worry about reinstalling it, and I don't need to worry about parts that might be broken on it. I just need to worry about the parts that it fastens to being broken. So we'll go ahead and have a look at that first, and then we'll make some decisions from there probably. Well, we got Mosey in here with us today. Hi, Mosey. I know. Oh, we got Busy Izzy. I know. Okay, now the first place you start with any repair when you're actually to the point where you've made your decisions, you've looked everything over, you know what your course of action is going to be, and now it's time to repair, is get out your grease remover. Because if you intend to do a fiberglass repair, the chances are there's going to be some sort of oil or petroleum product you're going to have to deal with, even if it's just road tar that's been splashed up on the underside of something like this over the years. Those are still, you know, petroleum based products. You don't want to go running your roll-lock discs or whatever your abrasive media is through that. Okay, now here I'm taking a 2-inch roll-lock disc. It's probably 36 grit, it might be 24 grit. I work between the two pretty seamlessly. I just have a little cordless drill here, a drill driver. I don't have it in drill mode. I normally have it in driver mode for a prep like this because it's not that much prep all in all. So I don't need to have it going so fast that it fills the whole shop with dust and covers me and gets up in every single thing. And this way you're more grinding it away. And so most of the dust falls in front of you. It doesn't just get all over in the shop if you're using it as a driver and not a drill. And that's the way I'll do a lot of these singular repairs that aren't too big. If it's going to be really big, I'll just get the die grinder out and we'll just stir up some dust and get done with it. But this is the way I normally do it. So what I'm going to do an inlay style repair. So an external repair, because I cannot get to the inside of here. If I could, I gladly would. But I'll do a inlay style repair here, trying to make it as sturdy, wide, and usable, reliable as I possibly can. But also try not to get too far back into here, because the way that I'm going to solve this is with additional color. I'm going to put a second color on this, but I don't want it to be super intrusive into the hood if I can avoid it. So we're wanting to keep this minimal, but keep it strong. And try not to be careless and get back into here at all. I'm not masking this up first because I don't want boundaries. I want to be able to do what I got to do, and then that sets the boundaries, and then lay my stripe scheme out later, or my cutoff line later, according to the boundaries I've set by what the repair required. And as you can see, what I'm uncovering here is a previous repair. It was much wider up here, but without very much force or elbow grease at all, I wiped that off. So this was a very, very thin repair. Somebody did an external repair like I'm getting ready to do, only theirs wasn't dug in like mine are. Theirs was very thin. It doesn't take much at all for me to wipe their stuff right off of there and get it down to the bare bones. But this was repaired before. It just didn't hold up. Now this is right about where I want it. And the way that I can tell is because it's getting thin. See that? Look at the impact just my light pressing is having on it. So you can tell just by the impact my light pressing is having, and I can tell by the personal feel that this is getting pretty thin. We're
we're about twice the thickness of a piece of paper. We're about as thick as maybe a playing card here. And so most of this is gone. And that's really what I wanted, because I wanted to rebuild all of this surface. Somebody else did something that was almost just like a butt joint in a way, and it just didn't hold. But this will hold. And so I'm going to go ahead and blow this off and get ready to do this repair and this repair. But I also have to prep this one from the backside right here. And I need to get under here and prep all of this yet. I already cut this with a Sawzall, so it sits flat, because it was wafered like they almost always are. And then they don't sit flat, so you got to run a Sawzall down the main crack first. And then I'm going to tape all this together. I've got the back all waxed and greased now. So I'll come out from the outside, tape all this together. I might even run a piece of cardboard or maybe a paint stick or something on the outside here to make sure this is good and rigid. But before I do that, I'm going to prep the inside so I can just rip and tear and do whatever I got to do, then blow everything off, and then figure out exactly what I'm going to do with this outside, and also build my mold while I'm at it.
Okay, prep is ready. Got the backside of this scratched, as you can see. Now I just got in there with 60 grit sandpaper on the end of my hand and scratched it all up in there. Made sure it was good and scratched up, and that's all it needs. And that's what I did on the backside of this as well. On the backside of this, I could get to it, so I just did roll lock on all of that prep. But the backside of this is sandwiched up in here. But as you can see, I did get to it, and you can see it through here too. That's the bottom of it. And then this was all prepped, of course, with roll lock. All up under there, prepped clear back. And this, if you've seen very many of my fiberglass repair videos at all, you know that this is packing tape with the sticky side in, of course, just put on there like normal. And then this will not stick at all to the fiberglass. So when I go to take this off later, it'll just peel right off effortlessly. And so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple sawhorses or get a table close by and set up a station so I can go ahead and get all my implements out and get all my fiberglass matting that I'm going to be needing for this particular application cut into the strips that I'm going to need for this application, and get all that organized, get all that ready, and go ahead and get this repair finished here today. Now I've got my prep table set up here, and I've got my initial fiberglass matting that I'm going to use today all cut out and kind of categorized. This piece isn't going to be used today, neither is this. This is the way I tend to get my general purpose fiberglass matting. General purpose like this, where you're cutting out all these little shapes and all that. It's perfect for that. Not to mention, and I don't even know what brand this is. I get it off Amazon, and it is real thick stuff, real sturdy. See how you can barely see through it anywhere? A lot of matting you buy it was lackadaisically put together, where some spots are way thinner than others. It's kind of a mixed bag as to whether or not you're going to get anything any good. So this stuff is really good, really rock solid stuff. I wish I knew the name of it. It comes in almost just a clear wrapper. I'm not even sure if the name is on the thing. And a lot of my auto body materials are that way. Some of my sandpaper's that way. It comes without a name on it. But anyway, this is what I use for that. And then I get rolls that are literally 4 foot wide by 15, 20 feet long or longer. I'm not sure how long they are. But they come in a big roll that I use for all the big stuff, big scale repair where I need to cut out big shapes and stuff like that. That's what I use that for. Everything else, though, I use this stuff for. And what I've done here is I've cut out what I need for today's job. Now, the other thing I wanted to go over is your hardener. You see the Bondo brand. And that'll oftentimes stir somebody into the comments because they can remember back in the 70s and 80s when Bondo was a filler. It was a filler product that you put on cars, like you know, an auto body filler, fill dents, and it was inferior in quite a few ways and really hard to work with. But Bondo since then has been bought by 3M years and years and years ago. I don't even, for all I know, they still make that same garbage in some sort of auto body line that I'm unaware of. I can't say they don't make it anymore, but Bondo itself is a brand name that has been bought by 3M, and there's many things under that banner. And this fiberglass resin is one of them. And I've used it for years and years, and it is double tough. It's affordable enough, and it really gets the job done. So, you know, don't let anybody tell you any different. And here's what I want to talk to you about. See this hardener, this is what comes with these jugs. And when you first open one of these, and this is an older one, this is one that I bought a couple years ago. I got a sale deal on them, and they're 2 gallons per box, and I bought quite a few boxes. It really just stocked up. But your hardener, even though it's packed away in sealed containers, underneath this, inside of a sealed box, probably in some dark, quiet area of the shop for years, your hardener will still sit and go bad. The resin won't, but the hardener will. So here's what we got. Here's the one I'm currently using. Now I'll take the lid off. Nothing special, just looks like a bottle, looks like a tube. Makes you wonder why I even took the lid off. These brand new ones right here, same way. And this is the way I get my hardener. I get them in tubes like this, and I've got 2 or 3 more of these in the shop, ready to go. I just haven't opened it because I don't need it yet, but I will for this job. Now this here, a couple years old, like I said, this is about 2 years old. You open this up, these look great. These look brand new and ready to go. Let's take the lid off. Look at that yellow. So here's what the yellow looks like next to a tube that's healthy. If you have yellowing like that on your tube of hardener, don't use it. Do not use it, because your fiberglass in all likelihood will never cure. It'll never cure. You'll come out in an hour and put your finger in it and it'll still be wet, and you'll come out the next morning and it'll still be anywhere from super tacky to wet and very pliable. So it won't harden, it won't do its job. So if you see that yellowing taking place on your tube of hardener, don't use it. Go down to the store, and a lot of stores, just like your local hardware Hank or whatever, they do have a section that's got at least one tiny tube of this in it. So it's not hard to find. So you get that, get a brand new tube, that way you know it's going to be right. All right, now at this point, this repair is completed. All that really is left is to leave this completely alone, get out of here for, an hour or two. It'll probably be set up in another 15 minutes, but we want to give it an hour or two to be good and set up, and really overnight before you mess with it much or put it to any kind of test. Okay, now it's been about an hour, I suppose, and this is perfectly dry to the touch. It was 15-20 minutes after I last turned the camera off for sure, but now it's not tacky at all. It feels like it is sat basically overnight. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and run a sander over this and get the barbs off of it and get it to where I can run my hand over it and see how mounded up this is, just to get it as flat as I need to get it to not stick out and look obvious on the side of this hood. And this doesn't matter at all. All I got to do is just get the barbs off of it. Now this down here, I'm going to go ahead and unmask this and then mimic this shape by taking measurements onto this, draw a line onto it, and then go ahead and use a Sawzall and cut this off to be the same shape as the other side. Bear in mind, this has been pretty heavily repaired from the back side. So now all I got to do on the outside is groove this out a little bit and put filler on it. See how easy that comes off? Just like that. And now I'm left with a surface that I can work with. Now I can draw on it the shape of the other side, get it all cut out, get going on the bodywork. Okay, and here's what you do when you're deciding on your overall shape. Once you've decided, and in this case, I've taken measurements from this side, and I took a molding from this side to get this angle right, and then just copied it off over here with permanent marker. And then I took the bottom part of that measurement, and I took multiple measurements. You can see the bottom parts of them, the bottom fragments of them. Multiple measurements throughout here, and then just hit them all as I carefully laid this tape out there. That way I don't have to worry about trying to draw on it, or because a surface this rough, you're not going to be able to draw on it very smooth anyway. It's going to be a messed up line, and this is really the best way to do it, because you can lay it out nice and straight. Then you can just cut right at the edge of the tape, and you're done. And as long as you're not getting up into the tape, you're good. Even if you're down below the tape a little bit, not, you know, you're not running a super straight line, that doesn't matter. You put a DA sander up under there and clean everything up, and it's gonna be nice and straight. All right, I went ahead and cut this off with a Sawzall, just an air-powered Sawzall. Now, we're ready for the next step, which is to get all this prepped on the outside so we can now start looking at doing some body work. But at this point, I'm gonna have to break away from this for a little bit here because I actually have a carpentry project that needs my attention here on the property. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll let you in on that as we go. And then as soon as that's done, then I'll come back, I'll go ahead and get this prepped and get some body work on it. And now, the first thing you'll need when you're gonna texture something is air pressure. And if you watched the last video, you saw me put this new spool on the front of the shop. I've always had a spool in the front of my shop, but I just put this new one on here. And I kind of touted about the ability to get out there 150 feet with this spool alone. Well, we got out there 150 feet toward that house. That's where the texturing's taking place. And then we gathered up some more hoses out of the shop and added to the end of that to go into the front door or wherever they went in. I wasn't in on it. And wherever they needed to go, whatever path they needed to take to run that hose all the way to that room, and then give me plenty of spare hose in that room. And as you can see, it's running along the ground and right into the window of the room that we're going to be texturing here today. All right, here we go. You know that I've got my texture gun in here and I've got my air hose in here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mix some of this water with some of this mud, and I'm gonna get this to, probably a little bit thinner than pancake batter. And then I'm going to spray a couple samples on this. And once I get the pattern that I want and the viscosity that I want, then I'll mix up enough of that to go ahead and fill the hopper. And I'll probably have to fill this hopper twice to do this room. So I'll want to mix up basically a full 5-gallon bucket of it if I can, and see how far that goes. Well, all right, now that that texturing's done, I'm pretty sweaty. I'm actually soaked in sweat. I'm pretty filthy. But I'm gonna go ahead here and begin laying out where the stripes are gonna go, because it's important to have the, not the stripes, but the boundary. It's important to have that all figured out before I start doing body work and prepping on this, so I know about how far I need to go. Again, the repair itself should set the boundary, but the repair itself, the size of the repair has already been made. I don't need to go much beyond this. So now I can go ahead and mask where I need to mask and set that boundary so I can stay within it as I do this body work. All right, now I've got this drawn on here. Normally I'll do it with the ink pen, but because my vision has been so blurry and questionable since ever, it was for so long that I decided to get surgery, and then after surgery it's a 3 to 6 month full recovery period. So, and I'm at not even 2 months, so I'm at like a month and a half. So really it's just a matter of waiting until it is, you know, till I do get all my vision back. But until then, things like this are difficult. So instead of drawing on here with ink pen, I did initially sketch on here with ink pen, and when I was happy with it, I went ahead and went over it with a permanent marker. And what I did was I just took this piece of heavy paper. It's almost cardboard, but it's not corrugated, but it is heavy paper. It's just so I have something good, because this is a lot of angles to play with. It's hard to just look at it and guess if you've got it right, but if you have an actual template, you know you do. And I use templates a lot with the things that I mask. That way you just know for sure. You're not stuck there peeling it off and putting it back on and peeling it off and putting it back on 400 times just to eventually compromise. You know you got it right the first time. We'll go ahead and transfer the measurements and therefore the markings over here to this side so everything is symmetrical. Yeah, at this point I can go ahead and let this guy cure out. While I'm working on other stuff, I still have a bunch of masking I have to do. The vinyl done up top here, but I don't have the vinyl done here on the sides. I don't even have it marked out on the other side. I need to get everything all marked out, get all my vinyl put in place, then get all the masking done, and then I can come back to that. By then, that'll be completely cured out, ready to go. Okay, at this point, I've got my initial masking done, all the paper that I really need to mess with here. And as you can see, it looks unfinished and raggedy. The reason for that is because I'm going to go ahead and throw sheets up over all this and just drape sheets and tack them in spots. What I'm trying to do is really minimize the amount of spots that my tape is actually touching this paint. So I'm going to throw sheets over it, tack it in a few strategic spots, and then tape this paper to the sheets. So I'll have minimal influence on the current state of the hood, of the blue part of the hood, as I'm trying to do the second color. And here it is with two different sheets thrown up on it and tacked into place. Now at this point I can go ahead and get all this bodywork underway. Now I'm finally ready to begin applying bodywork. I've got everything sanded out and around all the areas that I needed. I went ahead and put another layer of fiberglass in here, although it absolutely didn't need it. This is really solid back here, but I had the extra fiberglass left over from when I came up with this little piece right here. I realized that this was cracked up under here worse than I thought it was going to be, and so I went ahead and put this last little piece in. When I did that, I had a little bit extra of opportunity, so I just put some more fiberglass in here, and then I let that go ahead and cure out. So now this is a fully sandwiched repair. Down here it is. Up here there's nothing I can do about the fact that it's just an outside inlaid style repair. Now I'm going to go ahead, now that I got everything sanded and prepped around everything, and get some body work on it. And then once the body work's finished, I'll get some glazing on it. Once that's all finished, then I'll get some wet sanding primer on it. Okay, we got the body work done, got all the glazing done, got everything sanded and scratched, good as it needs to be for what I'm doing today. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the wet sanding primer on it. Well, good morning, gang. Here it is first thing the next morning, and you saw that I got this primed yesterday. And first thing I'm going to do this morning is look it over real closely for pinholes or anything that might need glazed. Get that done. Then I'll come over here, same thing, look for any pinholes or anything that might need glazed, any chips or anything, and get that done. Once that's all done, I'll go ahead and sand everything all flat and even here, get everything sanded and scratched over here, and then I'll go ahead from there and get black primer on it. And after it sits an hour or so, I'll get it in black paint here this morning. All right. At this point, I've got everything all scratched, all sanded, completely finaled on both sides. 100% ready to go. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and tack it all off, mix up some black primer, and get this guy primed. Okay, it's been an hour. It's been a little over an hour, in fact. And now I'm going to go ahead, look this over, tack it off one more time. If everything turned out all right, I'll mix up some black paint, go ahead and get it painted. Okay, now it's been, more than a few hours. We're well into the afternoon here. And I'm going to go ahead now at this point and unmask this guy, see if it's good to go. And if it is, then maybe we can just get it thrown on the trailer here this afternoon yet. Well, gang, looks like this Freightliner Cascadia hood's done. And really at this point, all that's left is to get it lifted up off these ladders with this backhoe, get it taken outside, get it put on the trailer, and strapped down and get it ready for the owner to come get it. Well, there you have it, gang. Freightliner Cascadia hood, all repaired, stronger than it was when it was new. Doesn't look too bad. It doesn't really stick out, and that's kind of the point. Matches up nicely with the other side. Now this guy's ready to go hit the road, eat some more asphalt, make some more money. If you like this video, you should take the time to hit the like button. It's going to help me grow my channel. And if you're looking to see more projects like this one, or truck auto body, or domestic auto body, or gardening, or art, or carpentry, or even dirt work, or any of the many things we do around here, you might as well just take the time to hit the subscribe button while you're in there, because you know, we always got something going on. We'll see you guys around.